Hi, my name is Luigi Briguglio. I'm from engineering and I'm involved in the CASPAR project. Now we see the CASPAR key components, which are the foundation and the framework based for the preservation aspect from the CASPAR project. We'll have an overview on what we have done in these 3 years of project. We'll have an introduction about the key concept from the OAIS reference model. We'll see which are the digital preservation issues and the rationale behind the CASPAR solution and our answers to the digital preservation issue. If we see the CASPAR brochure, we can see that the main question that CASPAR is trying to address is how can digitally encoded information still be understood and used in the future when the software, systems and everyday knowledge will have changed. The CASPAR project is mainly based on standard ISO 14721 2003 OAIS. In this perspective, its architecture is defined for managing the key concept of the OAIS reference model, supporting main functionality identified in the OAIS functional model and its responsibility. Moreover, the CASPAR project aims to define and implement interfaces and functionally independent components. We can see that we have identified best practice in order to address the digital preservation issue. I don't want to spend a lot of effort and time in order to describe the OAIS information model, but it's important to highlight that what we have to manage with our components are the information package, the content information, the PDI, the data object, and the representation information, which is related to the designated community and is knowledge-based. By using, just to remind, the OAIS functional model, we can see the 6 macro components, the entities identified in the OAIS functional model: the ingestion, the access, the preservation planning, the data management, the archival storage, and the administration. And they are really important, and in the reference model they are described in order to identify which are their responsibility and functionality. And still, we can see the mandatory responsibility of an OAIS archive and the negotiation and acceptance of submitted information to provide long-term preservation information, determine the designated community, and the information preserved need to be independently understandable to the designated community without having information from the providers. We have to follow documented policies and procedures which ensure that the information is preserved against all reasonable contingencies, and finally make the preserved information available to the designated community. In this perspective, now we want to see the digital preservation issues. Mainly, we have a set of questions that we want to address. How to guarantee that digital information may be accessed and understood in the future, or how to guarantee a proper information package management within the OAIS archive, or how to guarantee a long preservation maintenance of an information package, or how to guarantee retrieval of archival information, or the issues of intelligibility within heterogeneous designated community and their digital information. We could also discuss about how to guarantee the preservation actors are informed about change events and the security access, the rights, the integrity and the identity of any archival information. So, by using these issues, we can see the rationale behind the CASPAR solution. We start from the big question: what do I have to do for preserving my digital content object and guarantee it could be used and understood in the future? So, we can see 3 steps, 3 main steps. First of all, the preserving in order to preserve a digital content object, we have to get the digital content object, prepare it, and pack in the proper way in order to be ingested in the digital archive that will manage and maintain it for a long time. During the preparation, a package containing digital content object and all the necessary information need to be created. And then the package is stored. So this is the section about the ingestion. So we have to select the content information, create and register the representation information, which allow to understand semantically and also the structure of the information, create the preservation description information, create and registration of the descriptive information which is used for the retrieval aspect, and then after the creation of the AIP we can store it. So the ingestion, if we see to the description of the OAIS reference model, we can see which are the main activities which are enrolled in the ingestion: generation of IP, receive the submission, quality assurance, coordination of the updates, and so the generation of descriptive information, working together with the data management, archival storage, producer, and administration. So, how CASPAR is trying to provide a best practice? We can say that we created a sort of facade layer by introducing the information package management, where the main activities are the ingestion of the content information, the creation of the information package by creating the representation information, descriptive information, and the preservation description information. We check the information package, and finally we store it for long term. We can see that these are part of the ingestion, data management, and archival storage. The main component that we are promoting is the packaging, which is the components which create the package. And together, the data store, the virtualization, representation information toolkit, and registry, and the finding, we can support all this functionality. Second step, after the ingestion, we have the digital content information. Need to be available and need to be used and understood. In this case, the internal package of the digital archive system has to provide a usable and understandable information to the consumer, which requires. And so, what we can see is that the digital content object has to be found within the digital archive through its descriptive information and checked for any restricting access right policy. After that, the processed information is prepared, packed, and in a proper way to be assessed from the digital archive system and made available for its intelligibility at the consumer, taking into account the consumer knowledge profile. So we can see these are part of the access functionality. So the retrieval of archival information package by using the descriptive information, check of access right, processing of representation information by the designated community, profile requester, the creation of submission of the IP, and so finally the request for further information. Because when the consumer browses the information, maybe he could have a different designated community profile, so maybe he or she doesn't understand which is the real content that is browsing. So he or she could ask for further details. And this is, as usual, if we see the access in the reference model of OAIS, we can see that the coordination of access activity, the generation of the IP, and delivery response are the main activities of OAIS. And this is our best practice. We identify an information access macro components which allow to search content information and obtain the information packages and relative contents and description to the consumer. These are part of the access, the data management, and the archival storage. And the main components that we can identify is the finding manager, which together with the knowledge management system, the packaging and the data store is able to support this functionality. Not only, but we have also to analyze the aspect about the designated community, which is really important during the access to the information, when the consumer asks to access. We have also to identify that any change can impact on the designated community. The community of reference can change in the time, so we have to deal with the change of designated community profile and its own knowledge base. And the system should be able to identify a gap between two different designated communities. In this perspective, we identify the knowledge management system, which is part of data management, access and preservation planning. And together with the representation information registry and the orchestration, could be able to address to these issues. Finally, the most important aspect, because we have seen the part of ingestion in the archive, the part of access to the archive, but the most important aspect for a preservation system is the preservation planning. We have to maintain the information within the system. So the ingestion and access represent the only two main activities which are usually involved in digital archives, not in digital preservation archives. And what we have to discuss now is the part of preservation. So the step 3 is the digital content object within the digital archive needs to be maintained in order to be assessed, used and understood for whatever changes during its long time. And that implies that any impacting change in the real world needs to be identified, notified, and then corrective action needs to be carried out according to preservation plan. So the preservation step we can simplify in these 3 main tasks: the notification of changes, the performance of corrective action according to preservation plan, and the update of AIP and PDI. And this is, as usual, if we see in the OAIS reference model, the main activities that a component and an OAIS archive has to do for preserving. And we identified the CASPAR preservation best practice, which is mainly a communication management system which allows to notify and alert for change event impacting on long-term preservation. And another aspect is the triggering of preservation process in order to address the potential impact. This is part of the preservation planning and administration in the OAIS reference model. And the main components is the orchestration, which notifies system changes, event, and so on. And together with the knowledge manager, the authenticity and the representation information registry is able to carry out this functionality. Main important aspects need to be covered for the security. We have to deal with the user account, role, profiles, the content access and permission during the access and the ingestion, but also we need to deal with the digital rights and guarantee the authenticity. So we identified macro components which could be called security management, which cover aspects of preservation planning, data management and administration. The main components is the digital access management system and security, and together with the DRM, digital rights management, and authenticity is able to provide this functionality. So you can see the big picture. We see the data producer, which is able to use the information package management. And the other side, we have the data consumer, which can consume the information through the information access. And together with the communication management, designated community, and knowledge management and security, represent the main best practice that we can provide in order to address the digital preservation issues. This facade layer is built on top of the CASPAR foundation, which is mainly composed by 11 key components, a framework, and a platform. This is just to show the complexity of the system that we built in these years with the CASPAR project. We can see in the bottom the platform, which is mainly based on different operating systems, Linux, Unix, Windows, and so on. On top of that, by using the Java platform, we built all the framework, which is mainly a web service framework, by using the novelty solution about JAX WS, which is an evolution of JAX RPC. We used as a development framework also for the user interface, the Google Web Toolkit, and for the development management, we used the solution as Add-on and JTrack. You can deploy your components in different application server, Tomcat, Glassfish, and WebSphere Application Server Community Edition. And you can see the 11 components that we identified. So now the final part. We identified the issues, and now CASPAR tried to address with some answers. If you have to guarantee a digital information assessed and understood in the future, you need an adequate OAIS representation information. And CASPAR proposed the representation information toolbook, the virtualization, and the registry. In order to guarantee an information package management within the OAIS archive, you need to create an adequate OAIS information package, and the packaging is the solution. To guarantee a long-time preservation maintenance of any information package, you need an implementation of OAIS archival storage, and the CASPAR preservation data store is the solution. To guarantee retrieval of archival information, you need an OAIS finding aids, and the finding manager is the solution. To guarantee the intelligibility within heterogeneous designated community and their digital information, you need to manage designated community profiles and their knowledge base. Knowledge management system is our solution. And in order to guarantee the preservation actors are informed about change events, you need an adequate management of message exchange, and the orchestration manager is the solution. To guarantee an adequate security access with the proper rights to any resource and functionality within an OAIS archive, you need a security and DRM management, so the data access manager and security and the digital rights manager are the two solutions provided from CASPAR. Finally, but not less important, to guarantee an adequate integrity and identity for any archival information, you need an authenticity tool, and the authenticity management system is the solution proposed by CASPAR. So you can see the big picture, which may be confused, but you can see all the actors involved in the digital preservation issues: the data producer, the data consumer, the curator, which are involved by using the key components in many aspects that we explained. So thank you for your kind attention, and if you want to see further details and see all the specification and all the source code, we invite you to stay tuned on the developers website and the SourceForge community. Thank you.